Hey guys, real quick before we jump into this, I don't even want to call it an interview. Before we start the rest of the video, I'm so grateful that Sarah came here. I'm not grateful, I'm honored. I'm all the above. There is one thing that I did want to ask about that I forgot, and there is a couple things that she wanted me to put in, so I'm editing, so here goes. One, I wanted to talk about one of her encounters that she had with the police. And at one point, she told them, if you feel like I'm involved, just do whatever you got to do. I just want my son. I just think that's important. Listen, guys, whichever way the cookie goes on this one, it's about the baby. It doesn't matter. You know, everything else will work itself out, whatever you feel. And also, Sarah wanted me to say, she could not do this without her community. And she literally has no words at all for how grateful she is. And the prayers, she says even the smallest things, you just don't know how that they impact her daily life. And she is bowled over by the prayers, the love, the support. And also, total choice, Molly's movement. I'm going to name out some of these names. Just first name only. If they ever see this, they'll know they're speaking. They're, the message is for them. And a lot of it is just fun in the words. Not everybody is just great with hopping in front of the camera, but here goes. To Bruce and Laura, everybody involved at the Total Choice, the print shop. Tina and Joy with Molly's movement. And she says she wants to thank you very much for your sacrifices. She knows that it is taken away from y'all's family, from your personal life, and from the bottom of her heart, she is beyond thankful. And she just wanted to make sure that that comes across. And where's Xavier? Thank you for the prayers. And she pay it forward. And what else was the one? I just saw it. Just be kind. Just be kind. But thank you so much. Okay, here's the rest of the video. We got to find this baby. So tonight we have a very special person. And the channel's going to be the members because we've been following this baby's case. And I'm grateful that she wanted to come here and talk about her son and on behalf of him. And Xavier Harrelson, welcome to the channel. Welcome here. And thank you for coming and sharing some of Xavier with us. I appreciate it. I really do. So you want to just tell me, you can start wherever you want to talk about. You want to talk about the day he went missing? Oh, and just real quickly, Xavier Harrelson is a missing baby out of Montezuma, Iowa. And he's been missing 6 weeks. He was 10 when he went missing. He turned 11 3 days after. And that's where we're at. And that's where we've been. There's been benefit concerts and things like that. It's been slow moving process outwardly, publicly from police. But I do feel like I prayerfully, and I feel like that they are working on something. And but Sarah, the floor is yours, and welcome.
Thank you. I just want to start with, it was the 27th, Thursday, and Xavier is the most outgoing, just pure son, and just, joy, and very imaginative, very smart, but yet a little smart aleck at the same time. And he would never run off. He would never leave the trailer park, and he sure wouldn't be by no lake or anything. But I don't know exactly where to start.
Do you want to start with that day? You know what was going on that day?
We first got up. He was asking for my phone. I told him no. One day for YouTube, I told him I needed to charge it. So he plugged it in, took off, and I went to the bathroom, came out, asked if he wanted pancakes or anything. He said no. And I'm like, why aren't you hungry? You're always hungry. And I had forgot the night before he had 2 bologna sandwiches, a pack of ramen noodles, and a crab bag and a half of chips.
Well,
So,
that
and
would
it was
explain it.
late. So that's probably why he's not hungry. I was like, okay.
Right.
So he got on his Switch because it's summer, and the summer rule is we don't go out before 9:30 in the morning because we're very loud and people work their shift.
For sure. Right.
So he was playing on that, and I was doing laundry, and time goes on, and went to the bathroom. So it was 10:38. The only reason I know is because the phone was sitting on the walker in front of me, and I have a big Christmas bell on the front door. That way I could tell when the door was being opened and shut, because in the way back you can't hear very well. And I certainly, so I heard the bell, and I'm like, Bubba, and he didn't answer me. I was like, could have at least told me. He always tells me where he's going first, or what he's doing, before he goes, and and he, I finished going to the bathroom, got up, and to get through the hallway, you gotta the washer and dryer right there. So I finished switching loads around, went out to the porch and yelled for him, and it was almost 11, or it was right after 11. And the neighbor Scott had said he hadn't seen him yet because I'd yelled. And he goes, I haven't seen him. I was like, well, he just came out. And I said, well, maybe he's in, the neighbors playing Minecraft,
Right.
And so I went back in. I was like, he'll be back soon. He'll be hungry before long,
For sure.
lunchtime,
For sure, yeah.
And so lunch comes, and I was like, okay, by 1 o'clock, I'm like, where in the heck is this child at? And I went back outside again. And in between, I yelled for his name a couple of different times. But at that time, I had heard Zoe, and I yelled for her, and she came back around from her trailer to the front, or from her front to the back in between ours. And I'd asked her if Xavier's playing Minecraft over there. She said no, that he hadn't been with her all morning. And I said, you haven't seen him all morning? And she said no. I said, okay. And
you kind of knew then something was starting to get a little weird.
Yeah, and I tried getting a hold of my roommate or ex-roommate, and she wasn't answering. I got hold of her son. I said, is Xavier with them? And he's like, no, I've got my sister, they went to Des Moines. I said, okay. I said, all right. And I hung up with him, and I had called Sam and asked her, I don't know where he is. The only places I could think he'd be would be these places. And I said I would start with the parks, the school park, the city park, and then, so and so, so and so, so and so.
Right.
I said, but he still wouldn't leave, and he knows I wouldn't let him go by himself anyways,
Right.
But
when there's a speed bump, right, too, that he normally never even went past.
Yeah, the second speed bump you don't go past. It's where the road tees, because it goes to the garbage can or straight to 63. It's the only way in and out of the trailer park.
Right.
And people fly through there, and they're don't pay attention to kids or nothing. And so she started looking, and he wasn't anywhere. And when she came back, I said, if he's not at the last trailer down by the garbage, playing with, over there, I said, then I'm going to go ahead and call the police. And she said, okay. And she took off. And next thing I know, I see the sheriff coming, and she's walking, her and her boyfriend or whatever.
Now, this is Samantha Ricks, correct?
They walked straight past the sheriff's truck, got in her car, which is still parked in front of my trailer, and they left and told him what was going on. We looked here, 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 here. He would never leave. He would never run off. It's not him. Somebody had to have taken him. And somebody had to have taken him, period, And they're still looking at it as a runaway. And I was like, he would never, he's scared of the dark. He gets cold easy. It's called CMT, Charcot-Marie Tooth. It's a muscle degeneration of the limbs, and it's hereditary. But he gets cold way too easy, and he certainly isn't going to go that long without eating, and if he was running off, he would have taken his Nintendo Switch,
Right.
and
His bicycle, something.
food, and a bike. At least one of the bikes,
Yeah.
probably the mountain bike, because then he can shift gears. You don't have to pedal nonstop like on the
Right.
mongoose. I
Yeah, he
didn't,
wasn't really elaborate with this runaway, huh?
yeah, and I was like, and he wouldn't leave without his walking stick either, because he's got a big walking stick that when we went mushroom hunting and stuff and did our hikes with, that way he can keep his feet. We're not very good balance.
Sure. And
So
this degeneration, could you speak on that a little bit? And you and him both have it, correct?
yeah, it's hereditary.
It's hereditary. And
Basically, it's like out of your kids, 50% or more will have it, but I ended up with more. It affected me more. I was the only one in my family that had to have surgery on my feet, because the muscles deteriorate and my feet started to lean out.
mm-hmm.
So they took them and bolted them back over, pulled my feet back over this way.
Oh, wow.
But over the years, I'd had 8 different surgeries on my left foot, and the metal plate and screws were coming out right before they went to amputate it. So, and you can't have pain meds or anything. So,
Right.
But Xavier, his back hurts him. My back really, didn't start hurting me until I was older, and Joshua bugs him sometimes, but Xavier's always complaining about his back hurting, and so he don't walk very far, or we don't do certain terrains for very long, or so
Right.
because even though he's a trooper, he'll stay right along with you, but he'll regret it later on in the night. It's when we stop that it hits you.
You'll be feeling it later.
Yeah, definitely. And but he wouldn't go anywhere without a bike anyways. He ain't gonna walk that far, and he sure isn't gonna go to the lake.
Right.
Because when we came back to visit, it would have been 2014. He was 2, or he just turned 3. That's right, he just turned 3. And we were at a friend's farm, and the kids were running through sprinklers, and I'm standing here. The back door is here. The sprinklers is probably like 20 feet in front of me between 2 pine trees. And to the left of me is it's supposed to be, they call it a pond, a little,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this thing isn't that deep or anything, but Xavier came around after running through the sprinkler, ran past me, went to go get back in line, all of a sudden turned, darted, and jumped into this little, it was only probably like, what is it, a yard across my arms? I think a yard. But it came clear up to here on me, and I jumped in, it seemed like forever, but it was right after, he fell in, and I, yanked him out, and yeah, so he
was Larry of water.
Right, but even when we went to the lake for mushroom hunting and that, we walked the fence line of the lumber yard, and there's a path down there that you can take that, from everybody taking it, and it's, a path, it's cut and everything.
Right.
And then you go across the road that goes into Diamond Lake, and on the right-hand side, you go down a little bit, there's a wooden bridge on the right hand and path back there. Mm-hmm. We never even went over by the actual lake part. That's why I was like, he wouldn't be at the lake. He wouldn't go by himself, or, I was like, he just wouldn't.
Right.
And it was frustrating. And by Sunday, his birthday, after they called the search off, that was when I got a hold of the, how do you say it? Molly's movement. Yeah. I sent him a bunch of pictures because I know she had the biggest social outlet, get his face out there and his information, and it's paying it forward, for all other kids, or even young adults, or even adults, because it's really everybody, good. Every age is, he disappearing, and all he wanted for his birthday was for his dad and brother, the 4 of us, to be together and Nintendo Switch games. That's all he wanted.
Nothing too pressing.
Oh man, it wasn't though. But he's asking me how many games did he get. Where I was like, dude, I don't know, because what we paid for that used your brother when he was 4, it would cover him in presents. It was like if you get 3 now, for
Right.
$150. I was like, I don't know. I don't play games.
I don't either
Xavier, all I
anymore.
can tell you is look up the prices and tell me what game you want.
What you
So
want,
he wrote
we'll
me,
fix it.
right. So he wrote a list. I was like, how about he goes, take me and I pick it out. I was like, if you want to do it that way, we can do it that way, buddy.
Right.
He's like, all right. So
So what's your favorite thing about Xavier?
I can't name one thing.
Yeah. What about,
Because
like, y'all have very similar personalities from what you say.
we are a lot alike.
Yeah.
Very outgoing, very bubbly, but want to make everybody happy, but at the same point in time, cheer somebody up who really needs it.
Yeah.
Because laughter is good for the soul,
For
and
sure.
we will say the most outlandish whatever we can to get you to laugh because we know it's what you need,
Yeah.
And just our imagination of the stories, and people just laugh. We were sitting there listening to Xavier play one night, and there were 4 of us in the living room, 4 adults, and I was like, "You guys didn't play like that?" And they're like, "No, we had 2 trucks crashed together. That was it." I was like, "Really?" Because Xavier's talking about his wife's in labor and he's leaving the
Yeah.
fire department. He's got to wait, and he's got the whole town, And I was like,
Darcy said he could tell some stories for sure.
oh yeah, but he's very smart and intelligent too,
Yes.
but also very mischievous too.
Very
It's like,
yes,
oh, you're slick, huh? We don't get mad, we get even. Just remember that, buddy. But it was always playful, and as long as we're going or we're outside, we're doing something and just enjoying nature and all of our family.
Making memories, yeah.
That's, we're just giddy,
Yeah. What was I going to say? So I'm just going to, there's a couple things that have been kicked around. Bicycle is in the home. Yes.
Both of the bicycles were in the
Both
home.
of the bicycles were in the home, and he
never even took his bike out that day because I make him bring them in so they don't get stolen.
Right. I know.
And,
in the other video that I did with Darcy, I spoke incorrectly about the reason why it had nothing to do with anything previous.
No, I was just wanting to check to make sure he wasn't the neighbors playing, Minecraft, or just, for some reason, maybe he'd seen one of the older boys who he runs around with his younger brother. Maybe they come to the park and asked him, and I don't see why he wouldn't have, because he always knows, he's always telling me, okay, don't freak out. I'm going to be here. I'll be right here. I'm not,
right.
And checking in with me. But he hadn't.
We had doorbells and everything, I mean.
But it was just okay, am I over exaggerating? No, he definitely would have been here to eat by now. And what is going on, And
you just pretty much you had a hard time gauging the severity of it.
Yeah, but I also
initially
my vehicle isn't running and I can't get my prosthetic on, and yeah, this walker, good God, I'd make it out of the trailer park and that'd take me probably 45 minutes right there alone. I wouldn't get very far, and home is the first place he's going to come,
Yeah. So, I mean, and there's a reason, it wasn't an officer came, through, and the officer was flagged down. It was never, I just wanted to spell, this is your son. This is what you're going through. And, we don't need to minimize how important that is. So, I'm trying to think. So the benefit, so you got a hold of Molly's movement. They've been amazing. You want to talk a little bit about the benefit and everything that's been going on in between as far as that and the community and the support? And
there are no words to thank the community and everybody who's looking for him, donated money, stamps, envelopes, putting up flyers. Just no amount of thanks, but it also gives you hope at the same point in time. That his photo is being put everywhere. He is going to be seen someday. Because the first 48 hours is the most important,
Yes, ma'am.
And his picture wasn't even out. There wasn't an Amber. He didn't qualify for an Amber Alert, and you're painted into a corner, you know, and you're also trying to think of, you know, what would make the situation worse, what could make it worse, what could make it better, what could, you know, there's just so many things that go through you, and you don't know, you know, what's good and what's going to help and what's not. But I just
Right.
wanted his information out there and who he is, and he's such an amazing boy, and people want to get crazy with stupid ideas and theories, and I don't care. You don't think we haven't thought of that? We just want him home. Just want
Right.
him safe. Sorry.
You're fine. Don't ever apologize for anything, ever. I want to say, too, while we have this little space, the request to get flyers will be in the description box below. The change.org for to extend and add to
Or
the
come
Amber
up with a
Alert
different
criteria.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that's going to be in the description box below for those of y'all that watch this video. Do you want to talk a little bit about this criteria, you know, and your thoughts on it? Or this change.org petition?
Obviously, the bureaucratical way does not work, and these kids and everybody, they matter, and they're important too. And that's the main thing, is alerting, even if authorities don't even know that there's a child, you know, but yet it's been on the news, or, you know, there are all these kids. I think that they should have they have computers right there in front of them in their cars, you know,
Yeah.
even. They could have a thing that flips the screen through all the missing kids of Iowa for the day, or, you know, something
Right.
to let people know, because it's people who are driving, the truck drivers, the farmers, they're going to be the ones who are going to see him, you know, and that's my whole thing is, you know, I want him home, we want him home, you know, and the only way to do that is social media and everyone, you know, just, it's a
All
child,
hands
you
on
know.
deck. Yeah. Oh, heck, I had a train of thought. I forgot it. Yes, I forgot what I was going to say. But what I will say is the link for that change.org is going to be in the description box. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So, yeah, you know, like my thoughts on that is, well, like we all seen the Summer Wells case. There is this car that they're looking for is just potential witness, perhaps. We don't even know. Somebody else saw the car. Nothing suspicious, I don't guess. Hell, who knows? But it's at the
Somebody had
state's
to see something.
discretion.
The only way that in and out of that trailer park that you're not going to be able, and even still, there's a camera on it. The storage unit. That's the only way in and out. Or somebody still had to see something. I just don't
Yeah.
believe that you just disappear into thin air. You know,
Oh, he
especially somebody
didn't.
that everybody knows and loves, and it just none of it makes sense. You know.
It doesn't. It's wild. I mean, and it's not like it's not remote. It's not a dead end road. You know, it's somebody definitely knows something for sure.
10 acres.
All right, guys, we had to take a little break. Emotions are a little bit high. So Sarah, how are you? I mean, other than being a ball of mess, um, is there anything you want to say? You know, how are you? You know, and I just want to say, you know, publicly, I'm honored. I'm honored that you're here, and it means a lot. And thank you for sharing these private moments with the channel. And I've told you this in private, but and I appreciate it. You know, I more than appreciate it. You know, there's thousands and thousands of mothers out there who are missing their children, and there's thousands of kids that would have benefited from an Amber Alert or different things. So, I mean, I think if there is something that could come out of any kind of, you know, this ain't a
Learning from
tragedy
the
just yet,
mistakes.
but
Learning from the mistakes of the past is one of the biggest things, and the Amber Alert and getting their information and their pictures out is, I think, the most crucial part of all of it, you know, because it is, people are on social media all the time anymore. But there are people like truck drivers who are just constantly go, go, go. Everybody's going, you know,
yeah,
and for the time it takes you to make a negative comment, you could have shared his picture to everybody on your list.
Yeah.
It's just plain and simple. It is a child, for goodness sakes, you know? And
Yeah.
all these parents and all these families that are tore up and just they, you know, we just want to know, and we want them home, and we want them safe, and you know, until nobody could say anything unless you've been through that person's entire life, everything they've been through, whatever, because a decision I made 10 seconds, if it had been 10 seconds later, I may have made a different decision.
Right.
Nobody could ever say, you know, well, I would have done it this way or that way. Well, I'm proud of you, you know,
Yeah.
but in that moment, it's, you know, the nightmare of it and it just, you don't know. And you still, you know, are trying for that good road, but, and good intentions, but it didn't turn out, you know.
And he's still gone, you know. You're way deep in it. You never thought, you know.
You know, you never think it's going to happen to you, but at the same point in time, it's like, why any child? Why, you
Yeah.
know? And it's just a very disturbing world, you know. When we were kids, we could ride our bike 7 miles away to a lake and no problems, you know.
Right.
It was, you know, I'm not saying no problems. I'm saying it's just
I know what you're saying.
what, you know, if all you're showing is negative or giving is negative, that's all you're going to receive,
For sure.
you know. And I believe in the paying it forward and positive, and you know, because
Right.
one small thing could affect somebody. It can make their day or change their life or stop them from being suicidal or, you know, just
Yeah.
looking for the good and trying to help anybody you can, you know.
Well, y'all kind of live by that motto, you know, you're having a bad day. We're here to cheer you up. You know, every picture of this baby of yours, he has got the biggest, prettiest, like, just this boastful smile. Like he just, I could tell he lit up a room, you know, I mean, he's just got this beautiful smile. And as I hear, he's got the most beautiful blue eyes. They would literally stop a clock from what I hear.
Yeah, we live, love, and laugh with all we have because we never promised tomorrow. And you know what? Somebody's having a horrible day. Laughter is good for the soul. You may
I
not
love
want it,
that picture with him
and
with
we'll
the
say
things.
something absolutely ridiculous just to get you to laugh. But it's, you know, it's a matter of it'll be okay. You know,
Right.
it's a different path we're gonna take. You know.
So I wanted to, and we didn't talk about this off camera, so I hope it's okay. If not, I could edit it out. But y'all have to move in a certain amount of time because of the things going on with the trailer court. Do you want
Originally, we were gonna be out May 29th. The 30th was his birthday. He turned 11, and we were gonna be in Marshalltown with his dad and brother for his birthday for a day or two before we went to our place in Des Moines. And I'm not missing the 27th. And you know, you can only prolong things for so long, and I cannot afford or purchase this place, nor do I want to because
yeah,
there's a
right,
lot
yeah,
of things. Yeah, it's got black mold, and it's
yeah.
yeah,
It's just not what you want. We'll just say that.
no,
How about that?
no, and you know, we are country people, but we're Monty is such an awesome community. That's why we keep going back to Montezuma is because of the people and who they are, and you know what is important to us is each other, and you know what I mean.
Right.
And it's
It's
a smaller
community.
school, right? And it's a smaller school. Everybody knows everybody. The teachers, you know, they have more one-on-one time, and it's just a great place to live, you know. And it's definitely like a twilight zone, you know. You don't definitely don't think that anything's ever going to happen, you know.
Right. Well, you're up against this time and you got to deal with this baby's room. I know well, I have heard you've been struggling, but I
I
just,
won't, I can't do it, and I won't until the very last day. You know, it's he had made a environment for a turtle he had George, so I got to transfer that and do it. I'm gonna put it all in a clear rubber tote and
okay.
keep it exactly how he had it. You know, because he made this whole environment for him. You know, from the rocks to the dirt to an area to get wet and swim, and eat, and he was freaking out because he wasn't eating none of the flies. He's gonna die. I'm like, it's only the second day. I'm like, calm down, breathe, you know.
That is so
But
funny. He wasn't real
right,
dramatic, was he?
oh man, we are very emotional
Yeah.
people, but
Right.
very outgoing at the same time. Yet very stubborn.
Right.
It's kind of like a clash at storms, you know, sometimes. But
Yeah.
it's just matter, you got to take a step back, breathe. Let's reapproach this from a different angle.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
it'll
it's
be
always good to
okay. And we'll
redirect.
figure it out.
For sure. It's always good to redirect. So I just want to say this, just for people watching. There is a GoFundMe. It has nothing to do with Sarah or, you know, Molly's movement or anything. And we're separate from that. But what I do want to say is that there is, if you feel like you want to help, there is a print company local. The description will be below. They have been funding all of the flyers and everything on their dime. So if you would like to contribute or help to this print company, which I don't have the name right now. Sarah, what is the name of that? Total Choice.
Total Choice in Grinnell.
Total Choice now. I will have their
Molly's
webpage
movement.
linked at the bottom. You can donate directly to Molly's movement or directly to the reward fund. So, and those things are all taken care of. Sarah, is there anything else you wanted to say outside of how you wanted to end for your son? Is there anything else you want to cover or address? And then you can just move on into the message you wanted to leave for your son. And we will leave it like that. And just thank you. You know,
I maybe just want to tell him, you know, Bubba, we're looking and we're going to find you. And we say a prayer every night, which is, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Angels watch me through the night until I wake the morning light. And I say, I love you from here to the moon and stars and back. And he has a couple different endings, but his main one lately has been, I love you from here to the moon, the galaxy, and all the way back in a Google. I'm like, a Google? He goes, a Google. It's an infinite number. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And this is Xavier, and going, you know, and amen. And we say, good night, I love you. And we go to bed with the stars and everyone watching over us. And we're going to find you, Bubba.
Sarah, thank you so much for coming. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're gonna push this out for your baby, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one. Like, share, subscribe. Please get this baby's picture out. It is beyond important. He needs to be found. He needs awareness. We need to get this baby found. Please.